Hi, I'm California, and he's East Berlin.
Hello, everyone. Trientia here.
Novak. Oh, Novak is here.
Let's do that again.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. Trientia here.
Novak, stand here.
And oh boy, it's been almost an entire year since the last video. You may know us as Trentinova. We're known for making content, but also more forefront and importantly, not making content for a plethora of reasons. Most of it on me, but we can get into that. I don't know. Fuck. I'm looking at this outline. I'm like, well, that was definitely a hello and an introduction.
That's
Professional.
Scratch it off.
Scratch. I'm scratching. It's not. It's just moving the thing left and right though.
Shit.
Yeah. So we got quite the video here today. And oh boy, I know what you're thinking. Oh great, they're doing another one of these fucking videos. You know we walked into the desolate saloon and there's tumbleweed inside the saloon now. We're here to sweep that shit out for a minute.
Yep. This will be a different kind of update video. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, it's got good tidings isn't the word. It's got
It's got good connotations.
Sure,
good.
we'll go with
Good.
that. Good intentions isn't really it, but
good intentions. Yes.
let's just put it this way. This is like a call to action for us in a way. So yeah, let's just not beat around the bush. There's been fucking nothing for like a year, and before that there was like been nothing. And I think I may have mentioned it in the video I had uploaded to the channel last year with the 17 million of me and a dude putting peanut butter on his face in the center. So yeah, so the entirety of Trenton Nova's lifespan has been kind of weird to I guess just put it lightly.
Mildly, yeah, in many ways.
Like, I mean, we as far back as the channel started, I mean, it started off pretty strong. Like there was a lot of Garry's Mod and whatnot, and but pretty much soon after became this very common occurrence. Very what would happen more than not was that there'd be videos sitting on my hard drive for a long time, and then I eventually upload them again. But in my eyes, I was always worried about like, oh well, there's not enough stuff to be uploaded daily before Aaron and I can get together again and record more. So that just kind of translated into, okay, I'm going to keep this stuff here because there's no reason for me to put this up if I'm just going to upload it all and then we'll be out of stuff for a week. So of course the better alternative is not upload for months or years, or upload stuff and have it privated and then unprivate it like a year or two later. I mean, if you look at the descriptions for any Trenton Nova video that isn't Garry's Mod Antics, or maybe even Garry's Mod Antics, there is something about me in the description going like, oh look, something that's old, or wow, something that's not old. So yeah, it was definitely pretty bad. It's still bad.
Technically speaking, but that's kind of what we're getting at with this whole our whole spiel today.
Yeah, Aaron and I did some chit chat last night. I mean, we've talked about it a bit over the course of the last couple months, but definitely we had like our biggest discussion about it yesterday. And I guess before we get too far into it and into the inner workings in the past and whatnot, I guess if you just want to quit here, we'll give you a jumping off point. Essentially what this boils down to is that we are attempting to not attempting, we are going to get back to making videos. However, we're kind of jumping off the whole like, oh, we need stuff for like every single day thing. We're gonna work ourselves into it. So I guess if you just wanted to leave the video now, that's all you need to know, is that we are getting back into it. But in case you care, we're gonna be jumping into a lot of shit. I don't know how long this video is going to be. We have a lot of things to talk about, but for all we know, it could be 5 minutes or it could be,
25 minutes
or 45 minutes. It just depends.
Yeah.
So with that being said, one thing that we talked about yesterday, before we get into the deeper stuff, we had like I think for the first time like a real conversation of like what works, what doesn't work, and what things should we change. Now, for instance, over the years, I mean, Aaron and I have been pretty, I guess, stuck in our ways is a decent way to put it. Like we have like a very clear idea of what we like to watch, what we like doing as far as videos are concerned. Where we're more about like that classic style, long form style of like let's plays where it's not really heavily edited. It's not like jump cuts left and right to just things. I mean, of course, there's definitely like it's valid. It's a very valid form of video, but Aaron and I are kind of more on that old style of things, and we kind of like that. However, one thing that we discussed was in like our Golf with Friends videos. I kind of went all in on those, especially after like starting from the third one and going on. Like it kind of became the style of that video where I had to do a lot of like unnecessary censor work after we found out. But it just it made way for just a lot of like like I put up a stupid image, or I'm messing with the audio, or like in the last episode there was like the Tony Hawk thing where it was like courtesy flush and they played the Tony Hawk special noise and whatnot. But it was something that like we talked to. Oh, go ahead.
It was a good learning experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was definitely like it was good to do a little bit more editing than just like just slice out anytime I clear my throat, or if there's too much dead air, which leads me to what we talked about, what didn't work. Now, in that last update video for 2019, or rather the only video on the channel from 2019, which was the state of the channel address, I had mentioned that there was some unturned videos I was going to throw up, which of course never happened. But it's because if we look back at the channel and we see stuff like Portal Knights and Empyrean, there is one thing that is very true for both of those series, and why. I mean, Portal Knights, I uploaded everything I had. Empyrean, I deleted like almost 4 hours worth of content or video. And Unturned, we had maybe like close to 4 or 5ish hours in total, which I deleted all of it. And here's the problem. Survival games at their core are lots of stretches of nothing followed by short little snippets of action, which is fine. However, you ever notice when you watch like a Portal Knights video or Empyrean where you're just watching me in a menu crafting while Aaron or Mike are in the middle of some shit or exploring, and that'd be way more entertaining to watch than just me mousing around a menu. Well, we didn't have multi points of view for those things, and I just thought it was boring, especially Empyrean, where it was nighttime, really dark, you couldn't really see much, and I was in a menu for one point almost 15 minutes. Where Mike he died and he was going back to get his stuff. Would have been way better to watch. And that's just one of the small things that we discussed didn't work. And I mean, of course, those games are those games are fun to play, and we have a good time playing them. It's just we need, like, even if it's just Mike who sends me his point of view because Aaron is still running on a not so great laptop. So like even just having like that one extra point of view to jump to would make those videos so much better. However,
it'd make all the difference for sure.
It also is one of those things where like we've tried to do stuff like that. Like we recorded No More Room in Hell a few months ago, and
tried to, yeah.
Mike had recorded his point of view. However, that never got to me for editing, and that's fine. Like as much as I wanted to make that a learning experience, what it comes down to is that we need to make a better system for us to be able to do this stuff in a quicker fashion, or whatever. Whether it's Mike literally coming over because he lives like 10 minutes away to physically hand me a hard drive with the footage, or just him putting it through Handbrake and sending it over. But like for me, the biggest thing is time, which clearly is not on my side, as you can tell by the fact that I have videos that are going to be 7 years old in November that I have literally not uploaded to the channel, and something that we have teased and talked about for years, at least between us. I don't know if it's shown through the videos at all, but
I don't remember.
So, like, for me, the longer something sits, the less I feel like working on it. And I guess, to be fair, there are certain things like, for Unturned, uh, let's see, Aaron said something stupid that I had to censor. And I had a general idea of where it was, when it happened. Like, I was like, okay, I remember, like, being here. But then the longer that sits there, I don't remember that too well. So that turns into me having to sit through, like, an entire, like, 2-hour recording to figure out the 3 seconds I need to cut audio. And, that's one thing, like, Mike has offered to edit the videos because, I mean, Mike is, like, the creative one of the group as far as, like, he knows how to, use, like, Photoshop really well. Like, he's done graphic design for a few, like, shows, and he used to do graphic design for some dude and got paid for it. And he also knows, like, video editing, like, for his job, as well as working there. He does, like, he handles making, like, some of the videos that are in store for, like, the specials of the week and stuff. So, like, Mike definitely knows what he's doing, and it's just one of those things where, like I said, it's just one of those things we need to, like, set up a thing, like, hey, like, after this, I'm gonna put the videos through Handbrake, and I'm gonna send them over to, like, Google Drive so you can download them so you can edit it. It's just stuff like we need to communication, which is also a big problem that we've had in the previous years, and something that we've discussed at length and whatnot over not only yesterday but the past couple of months as we've kind of, like, reconnected and talked about the channel and whatnot. But I think that's I guess the last part of that, very professional video going on, especially just watching Aaron listen to me talk for now 15 minutes. We've also talked about things we can change to make better. Now, in this particular case, we talked about our Harpo and Stash videos, which I'd like to mention. It took me 2 years to upload all, like, 18 episodes. We literally did that in one weekend. It was literally a weekend. Yeah, 48-hour time span. All those videos are made, and I just once again, like, oh well, we don't have enough footage to cover until we be doing this again. So I just want to throw that out there. But with Harpo and Stash, most of that stuff is just fat. It's like, at this point, like, like, a little bit of fat on your steak is good. That fat is flavor. However, when you start getting to, like, the grizzle, is it or the whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, that and, like, the silver skin. You don't want that shit on your meat. That is just stuff that is not good. So you gotta trim some of that off. Like, you get, like, a rib from the butcher and they don't trim the fat. You gotta trim that bottom, like, that membrane or whatever, because that shit's gross. So, looking at some of the last, like, 2, maybe 3 Garry's Mod videos. Whereas, like, the earlier stuff was all just like, oh, we're playing this map and I'm just going to upload the entire thing. Those, especially, like, Failure and Failure 2 and the last episode, which I can't remember what the fuck I may have named it, or unless it was just episode 30.
I don't remember. It's been too long now.
Yeah. We kind of cut around, made, like, a compilation almost of, like, what happened during that play session. And on top of us making that skit at the end of the last one, I mean, I definitely, like, that made working on those episodes of Garry's Mod Antics in particular a lot of fun for me, because I don't have to worry about, like, oh man, like, nothing happened for this span of, like, 3 minutes when we were just trying to, like, tweak something and figure out how it works. But instead, I cut that out, and you just get, like, right to the payoff of that, of, like, learning that and see what happens with that. And that'd be something, with Harpo and Stash. That stuff probably could have been, like, 5 episodes maximum when you think about it.
Well, yeah.
Like, as opposed to being like, oh, hey, like, let's, like, do this, and then just, me driving around listening to music I'm unsure is going to get, like, copywritten or not on YouTube.
But that'll make going back to it all the more satisfying when we are able to, in post, like, trim all that out and, like, upload a really solid, just good episode. It might only be, like, 10 minutes, but, I mean, it'll be a pretty good 10 minutes.
Yeah. And that's one thing, is that yesterday Aaron and I had talked about getting Aaron, like, just looking at, like, budget PCs, something that, like, even if it's only, like, it's not that great in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be way better than what he has been using for fucking years with, little tink tink and now this laptop.
I will say that this laptop is infinitely better than Little Tink Tink, but I mean, it's still not an actual PC.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, we have also made some discoveries of things that even though Aaron's just on this laptop, we had tried using Parsec before, which is you can like remote play like local co-op games, which we tried and it worked pretty well. To be fair to Parsec, like it worked relatively well. However, now that Steam has their own remote play function, we tested that out, and besides Aaron blue screening when we tried to talk to the cultist in Gungeon to see what that would do.
I told you I don't play anything called Gungeon.
That opens up a lot of like opportunities to be like, if it's something that, Aaron and I want to do, or, the three of us want to do, but it's only a single player, we can all just connect to that and be able to watch people play, or like they can watch me play, and then be like, oh hey, it's the next stage, I'm gonna Aaron, you take controls, and we can do single player games like that now, and not be like, oh we just recorded the footage, now we're just gonna count down in VLC 3 2 1 and then post commentate it. So it opens up, like, we have things to do, we have opportunities that we have created to make more content outside of the stuff that we would normally do. And really, I mean, unless you have anything to add to, what works, what doesn't, what not, that we discussed yesterday that I forgot.
I just about covered it. I mean, there's all the stuff like with trimming the fat and just make sure we're uploading quality content. Really, it just like, I don't know if it's relevant to go into, but let's touch on it a little bit. It just came down to like making sure that the specifics of what we're uploading, not just like making sure an episode's good, but like, should we be playing this kind of game this way, or when we were talking about like Arma, like that would be a better compilation video than a full episode, and things of the like. So that'll also be good going forward, is that we have this whole fucking Excel spreadsheet of things that are like, things that we'll do, things that Zach and Mike will do. But I think that's probably something we're going to go into a little bit more ahead. So I'm good. I'm done.
All right. So I guess the next thing is yeah. So a little bit more of what we talked about like over the past months, yesterday, and kind of like our headspace going back into this, and kind of I guess more of a history of like why things were how they were, outside of just me being like, oh yeah, like there wasn't enough stuff, kind of like the I guess inner turmoil and those that midst of a inner conflict, I guess, so to speak, from the past years and sagas of our lives.
Yeah, they were sagas, that's for sure.
So let's see, this is something that we had discussed when playing World of Warcraft back in like September, October, and I guess before we jump back into that, we can kind of talk a bit about going back into it. You had said something last night that I can't fucking really remember that well, but it was kind of like how the things that had happened in the past were kind of, it was like psychological. I don't remember, but like, yeah.
I will kind of kick this off then a little bit. I think I kind of remember what I said. We were kind of looking at some old videos to sort of see what worked and didn't work,
and just read the old times.
Just kind of reminisce, and then we both had like this as a weird watching this, and we agreed. And I think I said it's weird because like there's a weird psychological part to it where like we can look back and be like, oh, this times when we were more consistent or whatever, but it's also there's a history to the older Trenta Nova stuff. Like there were like, while for you guys, like you can just go back to video 1, Resident Evil 5, all the way to the latest update video or whatever, and just be like, oh yeah, they've uploaded these. But for us, it's like, oh, during the filming of Golf for Friends, one of us learned that one of our parents were doing well, and like one of us had a serious relationship strife going on, or like a couple of us had like personal issues going on between the two of us. So there's like a weird, looking back, it's almost uncomfortable for some of it, because I mean there's good times for sure, like a lot of the Garry's Mod stuff, like we were just stupid and young and having a good time.
Yeah.
But there's also that aspect of like I said, like there was kind of not so good stuff, and we're completely over that now. But it's just weird to look back and be like, oh, we're gonna get back into this again. That kind of thing. But I think I said this yesterday too, like we'll be using all of that as the base for this new stuff, which is good. So we can officially put that behind us and just kind of move on. And I think that's also part of what's weird, is just getting back on the horse, so to say. To like, because I mean we've uploaded, I mean I've scantily uploaded to Novakistan, but like you've uploaded to Trientia, so we've gone our separate ways pretty much. Like Trenta Nova we've uploaded to a handful of times, but it's basically like archival stuff. So it almost feels like, for me, it feels like I haven't recorded for Trenta Nova in a long time. So it is kind of weird to think like, okay, I'm getting back in the state of mind we're going to be recording for this. It almost feels like when we started years ago, like it feels like it never happened in a way. Like we all of a sudden just got this idea that we want to do this. So that's the psychological part of it, I think.
Yeah, and to kind of bounce off that, that was something that we had talked about last night. Was kind of like how, because like we were trying to like it almost like we were overthinking like, what do we do, how do we do it? Because back in 2011 when we started Trend Nova, it was just kind of like that was the thing we did. Like that was our one of our main hobbies was creating Let's Plays, and we just made videos, and it was like, oh yeah, that was fun, that was cool. And like now going back into it, it's like how do we do this again? Like it's it's funny because I have more recently made videos over like the last 2-3 years of I'm still doing Let's Plays over my own channel, and more recently we've all kind of gotten into streaming, which is another thing. In the description of this video there will be links to my Twitch page, Aaron's Twitch page, and Mike's Twitch page, because we have been streaming every now and again, and so if you are into wanting to see any of that stuff that we do over there, then it will be there. Otherwise, like I throw my stream VODs up on my own channel if watching VODs is more your thing. Yeah, no, it's just kind of like this weird thing of like being, I guess, older and having a better understanding of other things, and kind of looking back at this, and as I said, we're kind of like, man, what the fuck do we do? How, like, when should we do it? How do we do it? We're like, we're just kind of overthinking it. It's just like, hey, let's just fucking play this game this day and let's do it.
Yep. And that's exactly how I think we were talking about this yesterday too. Like we were approaching it more of like we're trying to start a business or something, and it just wasn't right. Because like you said, like we 10 years ago we just approached us like, fuck it, let's just do it. That's exactly. I mean, there's a little more structure to it, because I think there's like we should have like a kind of an idea of what we want to do, like as far as content and stuff. But I mean, we just have to. It's Wednesday or it's Thursday or whatever. Like it's just time. We're gonna record for X amount of hours. Like let's just get into it. There's no point in us doing anything overly elaborate, like setting up specific meeting times or what the hell were we even talking about yesterday? That was like, it was getting overly complicated. It was like quality video. It was what the fuck? It was it was like we can do like this kind of video this day, and then on this day we can do this kind of video. And
then,
you remember? Yeah.
I don't know, we were kind of talking about like, because like how we've been streaming on top of like we were kind of like, oh, like like what stuff is stuff that goes on our channels, and like what stuff do we stream, and what stuff goes on Trend Nova. Like we were kind of thinking of it like that, and it's just kind of like, A, slow the fuck down, and B, just like once again going back like 5, 6, 7 years, it was just kind of like, oh, cool. Like, that was the reason why Trent Nova was created, because Aaron and I were going to do a shit ton of stuff together anyways. So why not just have our own avenue for, like our own avenues on our own channels where we're doing more solo stuff, the occasional crossover. But on Trent Nova, like, that's just kind of where the things that we do go. And we were trying to overcomplicate it last night to some fucking weird degree for some reason. That just sounded like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
And no one was there to tell us to stop, aka Mike, which Mike right now is A, sick, and B, probably still working, but fuck it, we're doing this anyways. He can watch the fucking video.
Yeah.
I mean, I caught him up a little bit last night, but I was like, you're at D&D, I'll leave you the fuck alone.
That's fair.
So, I guess at this point, do we want to discuss what's going on forward, or do we kind of want to, like, discuss the several year gap and, like, kind of what was going on during that time that kind of led to the drought?
We could discuss the drought a little bit. I don't know if we should cover it, like, point by point, but I think it's important to put it out there, I guess.
Yeah, so
where do you even start?
I don't know. Well, we can start with I mean, because for the while there, like in 2011, 2012, like that, like when we were in high school, things were like, oh yeah, dude, fuck, like, like that was when, like, the peak Garry's Mod content was coming out, and, like, just whatever. But I guess really, like, 2013ish is that when you went off to college, or was that 2014?
August of 2012?
2012.
So,
okay.
And by that point, things were already starting to fall apart.
Yeah. So, I guess it's important to note first and foremost that once again we have discussed this. We are past this now. But there was, I guess the way I can describe it from my end was that I was being very selfish, and also being one thing that we both lacked was proper understanding of, I guess, emotions. Feelings and communication between each other, and, like, letting stuff kind of, like, stew up, or just things that, like, we were like, oh well, it's whatever, like, it's just what I'm doing, so fuck it, kind of a thing.
Right.
But like, also, I guess you can see this kind of in my channel too, like around like 2013. There was kind of like I kind of, like, started to have, like, a kind of like a burnout almost. It was when I was doing Quake, which was, I was uploading, I had Quake stuff scheduled, or, like, I had uploaded, and that was around the time I was visiting you down in Mattoon.
Yeah.
With your two roommates or whatever. Yeah. Back when you were I for anonymity's sake, you were together with we'll go with Sharon.
With Sharon. Good old Sharon.
Yeah, so it was one of those things where, like, once, like I said, we've talked about it and we kind of got each other's perspectives on it. But around this time in particular, I guess bitter would be a decent term, but it wasn't, like, super bitterness or anything, but it was definitely bitter. I was being bitter, of being like, oh, like, Aaron's just, hanging out with his girlfriend all the time, and, like we don't have time to do stuff. And like, if you look at a lot of the videos from the Trent Nova channel, like, there was a few update videos or something, like, in the span of, like, 2013ish, like 15ish maybe. You can clearly tell I'm, like, deflecting most of them, like, oh yeah, like, Aaron's not around to do stuff.
You're like, I don't fucking care what he's doing.
So
I mean, it's totally warranted. I mean, there's you on the one side being bitter, and then there's me on the other side that's going through stuff, which, I mean, I didn't tell you, so it's not even your fault that you didn't know. But also, like, there's a part of me mentally that was like, look, I haven't done anything wrong, and the other part of me was like, maybe you did. And I couldn't consolidate my own emotions, so there was no fucking chance I was gonna go try to help you consolidate your emotions, and vice versa. Like, you had a right to be scorned, and I had a right to be dumb. Or maybe I didn't have a right to be dumb, but we suffered a classic case of the Yoko Ono effect. But not to a great degree. I mean, Sharon was not a horrible person or anything. It's not like she was beating me or anything. But See, it's gonna get awkward. Neat, like clingy, needy, I guess, and like I fed into that too much. Like, I couldn't curb it or anything, so like I dug that hole deeper for myself, and then while I was digging that hole, the dirt that I was tossing up was creating a wall between me and Trientia. Um, and then by the time I reached the bottom and looked up, it was too late. Zach was like over the wall, like, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, fuck you, bitch.
Hey, fuck you, bitch. So, that definitely caused, I mean, uploading issues, me being in videos issues, all sorts of issues that, one way or another, like, definitely affected my channel. Definitely affected Trenta Nova for sure. So I would say that's the long short of that's unfortunately that's the most important part of the history is that 5-year time span, which unfortunately ate up half the time the channel's been around, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and like I said, like this also like, and around this time too is like uploading a lot of very old videos at the time, and now like looking back, it's like wow, like because like I said, is it better to upload a bunch of videos like in a span of like, because like there was a time where I was uploading stuff like weekly too, like I think it was like I was like, oh yeah, like every this day like a Rainbow Six video is going, or Rainbow Six Vegas 2 video is going up, and like every this day like Portal Nights or some shit. But like is it better to upload like a bunch of stuff in the span of like a week or a few weeks and then have nothing, or is it better to just upload one thing and then there'd be nothing for years, and then all of a sudden like fuck, I forgot about these videos, let me unprivate it. But yeah, so like it's, as we talked about, like there was a lack of understanding and compassion, I guess is a good word. Because when we were playing World of Warcraft, back when Classic dropped, and we were talking about how like like for me, I was just kind of like, oh man, he's just not fucking like hanging out, he's not doing stuff, he's not around. But meanwhile, I'm going to speak for in this one because I think about it a lot sometimes. Aaron was telling me a story of like how he was talking to his wife and was like, oh, like I'm gonna go play games with Zach for a bit. Is that cool? And she was like, yeah. Like, why the fuck are you asking me? And because like there was some stuff that as he mentioned, like the clinginess and like the need for attention, and it was kind of like almost like a two-way street. I'm sitting there being like, man, why the fuck is this dude not around? And meanwhile, Sharon over there is just like, you're not giving me attention. What the fuck? He's beginning a fucking tug of war, if you will.
Yeah.
And like it's just something like I didn't really fucking think about. Like I didn't really think about what Aaron was going through. I didn't think about like where he was during this. It was just kind of like, oh, he's not around to hang out with me. What a fucking bitch. And meanwhile, he's just like, it's like I want to play games with Zach, but if I don't respond to this text message in 0.5 seconds, then I will get yelled at for not responding fast enough.
My life will be even more pitiful.
So I mean, yeah, like that's really like the biggest part of the history, and like that's where a lot of the issues with uploading and whatnot like came from. And that's like one of the big things that we're talking about, like going back into this, like we as Aaron said, we're kind of, it's like all that stuff still kind of there, like even though we're past it, we've talked about it, like when you look at the channel, like that stuff is still like deeply seated in like everything that we've done in there.
It's hard to look at some of them and not just be reminded of it. And it's not like it's a bad reminder or anything. It's just like, oh yeah,
Yeah, like yesterday, I don't know about you, but like it was the first time I had watched something that had Zanchi in it for a long time.
I think that may have been the first time in a long while for sure. It was weird to hear his voice.
Yeah, and I know we've mentioned this in a proper update video, but Zanchi, he's had issues, and he had to move away, and he couldn't really handle it, I guess is the best way to put it. That's how his mom put it. He couldn't handle like leaving us behind, quote unquote. And he went, he just kind of like went no contact with us pretty much. And it's not like we haven't tried. We have tried, but at this point, it's easier for all of us if we just, I guess kind of let it be. As much as we want to, speak to Xanchi again and whatnot.
Well, I mean, you don't want to like keep haranguing him, and it's just it's even, especially if he's ever going to get to a point where he's going to be fine again. It's just like keeping it pestering him. It's just going to either make him feel worse or just kind of drive him farther away. So, unfortunately, sometimes, like you said, it's easier just to let the ground settle and see what happens afterwards.
And it especially doesn't help that a lot of the things that he may or may not have been thinking or whatever, like we have a big role in a lot of issues that we've probably created for him, but that's not really what we're here to talk about. But it's, it's important to note in as far as the history of the channel goes, like,
yeah,
like if there was anyone here who was like, I'm Xanchi's #1 fan, I'm don't be expecting that. But yeah, no, yesterday we watched the first episode of Mullet and Stash, and it was like
gold.
So I guess real quick, just to make one more note about Xanchi, is that like around the time of like the first episode of Mullet and Stash, like that, like we were fucking busting a gut while watching it. Like my brother came in the room and was like what the hell are you busting a gut over? And he says, I was laughing so loud, and it was weird because I think just because like the last like few years, like the year or two rather, that Xanchi still lived around us, our perspective of him got like really skewed because like he had a lot of demons, and they all started coming to the forefront. And like I don't know about you, but like when I think of Xanchi, like if like my Doom 3 playthrough, like you can kind of see it start there a little bit, where like he puts himself down, and I there are better ways to fuse that kind of situation. But you know what I did? I just said, shut up. Like, I mean, I guess to be fair, like it was just, like kind of like, hey, like stop doing that would be a better thing. But instead I was like, oh, shut up. And it kind of became like, it's really like sad and to like look back and think about, honestly. But,
well, this is another thing we talked about before, like when we were playing Left 4 Dead, that like with our strife, we didn't have the emotional capacity to handle it, and definitely with Xanchi, Daniel, we for sure didn't have it, because I mean, I think we had all sort of gotten into this. That's how we talk to each other. Like we're just rude to each other, but that's kind of just how it was. Like we just fuck with each other and stuff,
Yeah.
But we didn't have the wisdom to see that we maybe should have dealt with it differently, because we also didn't see that the demons you're talking about, like the things were kind of coming up and bubbling to the surface for him, which i.e. kind of plays into the hand that we had in what ultimately became of him. But I mean, can't fix the past, unfortunately.
Yeah. So. But yeah, it's something that I guess it's better that we learned, even if it was too late, it's better that I guess that we learned that, we were proper little shits.
Yes.
And how to improve, and that like, well, fuck, we're supposed to be talking about the channel here, but now we're just kind of like talking about us. Like there was one day
I remember,
like I think like the one, I can't remember how fucking long ago it was now, but it was sometime, I think maybe like in 2018, maybe it was 2019, but I don't remember. But there was one day where after we had finished a play session, like I fucking called Aaron on the phone, and I was just like, I'm like, yo, dude, like I'm fucking sorry that like I was the way I was during, like all, like, especially like during the Sharon era and all that. Just like stuff like that. Like I was just kind of like I just wanted to call and like just fucking apologize, because like I've been thinking about it, and that ultimately led to where we are today. I don't know, is there anything that you would like to add more on this subject?
I think I'm good. I think I've said my piece.
And that is going to lead us to more positive. We're getting positive here.
Yes.
I guess real quick, should we talk about what we plan to do going forward, or should we try to get the feedback part in first?
Plan going forward, we can close out with the feedback part.
So, the plan going forward. Now, this is going to sound like fucking whoops, let me just make loud noises. It's gonna sound like some fucking like necromancy shit. We're trying to bring something back from the dead, you know. But what Aaron and I discussed yesterday was, you know, like we because we want to get back to doing this because we enjoy doing it. So we were thinking of a plan of, you know, at first, you know, like shooting for like a weekly upload. You know, whether it's something that's, you know, like insane, you know, like some like real good shit, or if it's just, you know, like a standard ass video, but just trying to slowly roll into it. So like, you know, if it's, you know, for January, let's say like, you know, like January, February, you know, it's just like a video, or yeah, a video a week. And, you know, kind of like maybe a monthly, like, you know, you call it a monthly production, but what that pretty much means is like a monthly Garry's Mod video of some sort, of just like accumulated stuff that we've done in the past, like the play sessions we did. So, you know, if it's just like that kind of a slow roll, and like, you know, let's say like March comes by and, you know, it's like, oh, you know, we're getting like 2 videos out a week now. And, you know, the kind of, you know, getting to a point where like, you know, something that we can sustain with our schedules and what we're creating. But, you know, because as we mentioned, the biggest problem was always like, oh, we don't have enough stuff to get from this time period to this time period without there being nothingness in between, because we didn't have time to record something. But you know, we're just gonna try to slow roll it, as we said, you know.
Yep. And it's the best way to guarantee that we'll have the consistency, like not stressing out about getting like 3 or 4 out a week, just like 1 a week. Starting with this one a week, so next week there'll be the one after that, you know.
Yeah, and I guess that brings us to the next question. So, for those of you who have stuck around through the video, or, you know, skipped around, and just because I can, to the guy who said, look at this guy talking like he's some big YouTuber, but, you know, he's only got like 800 subs. Yes, I get that. Do you ever just like hear of, you know, putting on an act almost? You just, you know, you kind of just do this blanket statement shit. That's what we're doing.
Hey, but also, fuck you.
Also that. So, I don't know. I guess at this point, because I know there are some people who are still around. I don't remember the username, but someone in the last video in the comments said, like, you know, they were still waiting. You know, like they said, one day, you know, we got you, we hear you, we see you, we appreciate you.
And my good friend on Steam, Orion, if you're watching.
So I guess really we're looking for, I guess, on a lesser scale, suggestions, because we have the bottleneck that is Aaron's laptop. It's like we can't really do a lot of new things, and I don't really like playing on consoles. So but you know, like we're looking, you know, I guess suggestion, feedback, opinions. You know, like what did you guys like? What did or do you guys like about the channel? You know, what are things that you liked watching? You know, we can't promise the world. You know, let's just get that out there right now. We're not promising the world, but I guess it's just something that it's good to know. You know, like what people may comment, like, you know, what you guys like, and of course, I know that there's a big chunk of people that are probably going to say Garry's Mod,
which, fine.
I mean, understandable. But just know that like we kind of have our, I guess, not issues, but like we have our problems with like getting good. Like that's why Garry's Mod would be like a monthly thing, because we kind of
it's something we're gonna have to really work at, like as far as like just getting it done first of all, but then like how we're gonna do it, like what that episode is gonna be.
Yeah, because I mean, like, you know, us fucking around, that's always a fun time, but you know, we wanted to do like more scripted stuff too, just to like kind of, you know, give us like something like a challenge to do in Garry's Mod, as opposed to just being like, yes, I no clip around and fly to try to find all of the, you know, clone troopers that Aaron spawns, and then I go, hey Aaron, watch this, and I blow him up with a nuke, and then screaming, shouting, and like 2 FPS fucking video as everything's exploding.
And 15-minute marker for the monetization value.
But yeah, so, you know, we'd love to hear, you know, what you guys think. You know, like I said, we've done a lot of discussion as well of, what works, what doesn't work, what needs to change for certain things. And I mean, really, unless you have anything else to add about that.
Yeah, just throw your shit in the comment section below, or do you wanna do Twitter?
No, just comment section. Just comment section.
Comment section. Okay. I'm sure people are smart enough to find us on Twitter, but
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, let's leave it in the comment section, I guess, or comment on older videos just to keep us on our toes.
So I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, this has been a fucking long one. That's for damn sure. So once again, I just want to, give thanks to anyone who's like stuck around at all
for the last decade.
Yeah, just
even the last 3 years.
Yeah, I mean,
anyone who's stuck around for that, that's much appreciated.
I mean, I guess to be fair, there's been more content in the last 3 years than there has been the 3 years prior to that. Like.
Yeah, true. So I mean, hypothetically, we can only get better from here with this new plan.
Yes, this is true, and yeah, I mean, I guess I can tell Mike we have a video if he wants to fucking watch that, so he can get caught up to speed. But yeah, so I guess really until next time, which like we said, we're gonna try to shoot for weekly stuff. The first proper video should be up next week. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm off the entire next week, so like we have fucking time.
We'll get it done, regardless. So yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully this will be the last one of these kind of videos for a long time.
For a good long while. Yeah.
Unless like there's something that we just need to like bring up and discuss and throw an idea out of or something. Yeah, fuck. So I guess until next time, this next video coming out next week, I'm Trientia.
I'm Novak Stand, as always.
And yeah, you guys fucking hope you had a good holiday season the past couple of years when we haven't really been around. Yeah, I hope that 2020 is good for all of y'all.
And us and you as well. Yeah, Happy New Year.